Can I show you moths? Hello friends, good morning. I just got out of bed and we're gonna go on a little adventure today. So my mom's coming over in about an hour and a half and we have a plan to hit a few thrift stores, go to the new Vietnamese restaurant, maybe hit a couple more thrift stores. Then we're all gonna have a family dinner this evening, although I probably won't film that part so much. So I thought that would be kind of a fun little thrifting excursion because several of you have asked me for a vlog. I haven't done one in a while, and part of the reason is because my life is chaos. If you've been a regular watcher of this channel, you will know that I've been trying to purge our collections of stuff and just stuff in general. We have a ton of stuff because we both have been lifelong collectors of more than one thing. I have a huge manga collection, I have a ton of books, we have a ton of music, although I probably won't really purge any of the music. Video games, Dade has a huge model collection. Anyway, we just have a ton of stuff and we want to move back to Maryland at some point. So for 9 months now, I've been hardcore purging our stuff, putting up a ton of stuff on eBay. I thought after 9 months it would start to feel a little more chill in here. Like I would have more room to like stash the packing material, for example, like somewhere other than here. But honestly, it doesn't feel like really any part of the house has gotten more emptied out yet, except the basement. We have cleared off quite a few shelves down there, but there's so much stuff in the basement that is still like completely overwhelming. So just things are crazy, and I've been having a really hard time keeping the house in any way presentable for vlogging. I'm all for vlogging with some mess and not having to have this pristine social media glamour house because it's just not realistic for me. But right now, you know, I still have some standards and they're not being met. So my plan for this morning, I'm gonna finish my cup of tea, gonna find a cute outfit to wear for the day, and maybe make a little breakfast. It's kind of a weird day to plan breakfast because we're gonna have Vietnamese food for lunch and barbecue for dinner, and that's already more than I usually eat, but we're not having lunch for another 4 hours, so I don't want to eat a whole lot, but I also can't not eat it all. So I'll figure out something. And then if I have time, before I go, I'll catch you up a little bit on how some of the writing stuff is going. So let's start the day. See, thrifting day means you need a dress with pockets, ideally, so that you can go in the thrift store with just some money in your pockets and not carry a purse around. I think I can never go wrong with this little 50s dress because it has the most massive pockets imaginable. Okay, here's what I decided on for breakfast. Got some strawberries and walnuts. It'd be great if I had some greens to make it like a proper salad, but I don't. But they have this peach vinegar, buy one, get one free at the store. So I think I'm gonna put just a little bit of that on there. Maybe a little more, it's yummy. And just a tiny pinch of sugar and maybe a little pepper. And it's gonna be like little light fruit nut salad. Okay, it's a little later. I'm ready to go. So while I have a few minutes, I'm gonna talk briefly about how writing is going this month. My plan for this month is basically to finish the Una and Vari book, which is like so close to done. I think there's maybe 5,000 to 10,000 words left to write. I'm guessing probably like 7,000 words. So if I could just write 1,000 words a day for a week, I'd be done. And I really want to get it done soon because the cool weather, the spring weather is almost over and it's about to get hot. I like to write in my bedroom, but it's not air conditioned. So summer is not like my most productive month. I am not a summer girl whatsoever. So I don't want like heavy pressure writing projects going on during July and August. Of course, I still want to do some writing during July and August. I just don't want it to feel like, oh my God, I'm almost done with a book. I'm so close. I got to really spend the entire day writing because the heat just melts my brain. My house doesn't have central air. It's fairly cool here in the mountains, so most of the time that's fine, but I don't think I have a whole lot of edits to do on it because I've been doing a lot of editing as I go with this book. So I will do an editing pass, but I don't think it's going to need like the heavy editing passes that I needed for the potion dealers. Because that one kind of just poured out of me, and then I had to go back and fix a bunch of stuff because I had written it in such just like a rush. This one, like every scene, I love these characters, I love this story, but every scene that comes out is like not right on the first go. So I've had to go back and do a lot of editing as I go to like get it right before I can proceed. And as a result, it's gotten a lot of editing already. So I think when it's done, it's going to be pretty damn close to being done. And when that's done, then I already have The Shattered King. That's the sequel to The Broken Queen. I have a good start on that one and a really good outline to continue with it. So I want to work on that. And then I'm kind of starting the proto outline for the potion dealers. What that means is before I make like an outline, especially for second books, I often just kind of sit down and I make a list of all the things that need to happen in the book and think about each character, where I want them to end up by the end, what plot stuff I want to happen. So I made that list of things and I'm just letting it kind of sit and percolate in my brain for a little bit before I get back to like writing a proper outline for it, because I like to give it a little time to simmer and think about whether there's stuff I need to add to it. Hopefully by the time I get to the editing of this video, I will be done with the book and I can check in and tell you how that's going. So I'm gonna head out and have a fun little day. I'll check in with you later. Video of your cute little...
You feel so guilty when you eat your cinnamon because you're eating a good part.
Yeah. I wasn't recording any of that. I forgot to hit the button. Good morning, friends. It is now the next morning after my thrifting adventure. I am enjoying my peach tart, delicious, that I got at High Ridge Bakery. And also for lunch, I've still got like a whole ass bowl of pho. But let's look at my thrifting haul. So my mom and I went to 3 thrift stores, and I had a goal for this thrifting trip, which was I wanted to find some cotton or linen breathable fabric like dresses that I could just bum around the house in, because I have all these vintage dresses, but at this point they're going to be like 60 and 70 years old. Fabric's getting a little more fragile. I don't really like to wear the vintage just like around the house to bum around anymore, because I'm trying to protect it as long as possible. So I just needed like any dress. Like, it's not going to be a going out dress, but I realize I just don't have any clothes to wear around the house in the summer. So I was minorly successful in this quest. I got this little pink dress. Oh, I turned it inside out. This is not my favorite color, but I do like the actual styling of this dress. It's a little universal threads dress, so this is not anything exciting. I said this is casual, not vintage, not designer, not special in any way, but I needed them. And then I got this little dress by Sweet. I don't know who makes Sweet, or like who sells that, what this brand is. It looks cheaply made, but I do like this kind of Poochie-esque fabric that it has. And again, cotton and light and comfy. It's getting very hard to find 100% cotton dresses in the thrift store. When I was at Goodwill, I looked through, like, you know, Goodwill is always the most packed. Whole wall of dresses. And I can wear a number of sizes for a summer dress because it's a bumming around the house dress. It doesn't have to be like a perfect fit. So I thought, oh, I'll probably be able to like have my pick. Well, no, I barely found any comfy cotton dresses. What I did find was this little pinafore thing. So this is rayon, and it's, you know, this little kind of apron sort of cut. And at first I actually thought this might have really been vintage because it's pretty convincing. It is that kind of rayon fabric, and they did a really good job with this print. But the tag, this is the Modern Arizona Jeans Company tag. It's not really vintage, but it fooled me. So that's decent enough for me. And it was really, really cute. I'll probably wear that more in the fall with like a black turtleneck and black tights and Doc Martens rather than it being a summer outfit. I did find a couple pieces of actual vintage. Here is a skirt from the 90s. A nice like straight cut knee-length skirt with just your classic 90s, maybe late 80s pattern. It is by R.R. Ross. And I also found kind of a striped grungy turtleneck, 90s. It's a little big, but this will probably also be kind of bumming around the house clothes. But, you know, you gotta love these 90s stripes. They just don't do them like that so much anymore. So those are my clothing finds. I also grabbed a number of CDs. I found Brian Ferry CD that I don't have. I love Brian Ferry, even though I have a feeling this one's probably not going to be very good because it's kind of late in his career. But for $1, whatever. The Church. I just picked up the Church album that has Under the Milky Way, one of my favorite songs of the 80s, and the whole album was really good, so I figured I'll listen to some more Church, see if their other albums are good. Got Blondie Plastic Letters, Sheila Chandra. I have one of her albums and I find her very relaxing when I'm stressed out, and Brian Eno's Music for Airports, his first ambient. I'm not as big of a fan of ambient, but I do love Brian Eno. So again, the cheap prices are a good time to try things out. And I got a few books. I got a Miss Reed novel. When I was on one of the mailing lists back in the day for, I think it was Ellen Montgomery's novels, people were always recommending these. They're like, just like slice of life English country village stories, and they're very charmingly illustrated, kind of like a kid's book, although they're not really for kids. I mean, that just looks so cute. I feel like they're gonna satisfy that like cozy cottagecore heart that I have. So I've picked up a few of these as I keep finding them, but I haven't read any of them yet because I've got that like, oh, I should get more of them before I just like binge them, maybe around Christmas or something. And then they also had a stack of astrology books at one of the thrift stores. I almost never find astrology books, so I just grabbed them all because I thought if I don't want them, then the bookstore had a nice astrology section that of course washed away down the river. So if the bookstore gets to reopen, and I just saw windows going up at the bookstore, so we're getting somewhere. I'm very hopeful that maybe, I don't know, maybe by like the fall or something, maybe we can reopen. I know some of you guys contributed to like the GoFundMe after the hurricane, and I really want to have good news for you about the bookstore reopening. Both me and Jamie, the owner, miss it very much. But anyway, when I find really good books for the bookstore, I can't help picking them up. So I got Spiritual Astrology, Cosmic Clocks, The Inner Sky, which I do already own. This is like my favorite book to recommend people who are astrology beginners. I love this book. And by the way, these were all $1, but they have a $2, probably like a garage sale sticker on the front, which makes me wonder what I missed, you know, that feeling. Planets in Youth, and the Complete Node book. I'm really interested to read this one because I don't really know that much about the nodes. That's like a mystery zone for me. And yes, I do. I'm into astrology, if you know this channel. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works. I feel like it doesn't make a lot of sense. So if you're an astrology skeptic, I don't blame you, but it is always extremely accurate to my life, everything I've ever read about astrology. So, and I also got a pack of incense at the little witch store. They used to have more Japanese incense than they do, so I wish that they had a larger selection, but I wanted to support them because we ended up kind of like taking a lot of time in there while we were waiting for my sister to show up. She was not late. We were early for the lunch, and I was really tempted to buy another tarot deck, but I don't need that. I don't need that whatsoever, but they also have like free tea. I thought that was sweet. It's just a cute little local store, so I wanted to just give them a little money. So I got that package of incense there and already burned a couple sticks. It kind of smells like matcha, which is really nice and kind of makes me wish that I had some matcha Pocky. Okay, so I'm gonna try to get some work done today without getting too stressed out, without doom scrolling too much, and I'll check in with you guys on another day soon to let you know how the book is coming. Hello friends. It is now a couple days after my thrifting excursion. I said I was going to check back in like a week or so. By the way, I know I look really disheveled. This is just pure housewife mode today. I did not look cute at all. But you know, if vlogs are going to get done, that's how it's going to have to be at the moment because I just don't have my shit together whatsoever. I was thinking about the Una and Vari book, and like I really wanted to get it out at the beginning of August, so it would be just 3 months after the Potion Dealers. But yesterday I was so tired. I was just having like a total hormone crash. I just have these days where I basically just like have one day depression. I just want to sleep. I don't want to do anything. Nothing sounds interesting to me. Luckily it only ever lasts for like maybe one day at a time, maybe like twice a month at different points, but as I've been getting into my 40s, it pops up more unexpectedly than it used to. And as I was just kind of loafing around feeling just like the idea of doing anything seemed impossible. I'm supposed to be chopping garlic while I talk. And then I was watching another AuthorTuber's video about writing, and they were saying, oh, this is a book that I just kind of rushed out the door. And in my present state, that really resonated with me. Like, oh yeah, this book has not wanted to be a book that you write quickly the whole time I've been working on it. It just needs a lot of pondering time. And now that I'm at the end, I suddenly want to rush it, and it just doesn't want to be rushed. So I'm rethinking. I should probably shoot for more like September. It'd probably be a good fall read anyway, because the characters are a little gothy, so it kind of fits in with that spooky season read. In fact, I'm rewriting Doll Girl Meets Dead Guy just a tiny bit, don't panic. I'm changing it from a spring book to a fall book because it's the book I've been marketing as Ghibli meets Tim Burton, and yet I said it in the spring, which is really stupid. I'm just changing the spring stuff to fall stuff. That's all I'm doing. But I'm gonna redo the cover so that it's like autumnal colors, and I thought at the same time I could release like the follow-up book and just kind of have them as a duo, little refresh for Doll Girl and a new book. So September would actually be a good time. And today I'm not feeling as unmotivated as I was yesterday, but I do feel like my actual brain cells aren't really working very well. So I'm probably just gonna work on eBay, because one way or the other, before we think about moving back to Maryland, we've gotta sell all of our stuff. However, before I do that, I am going to make a very nice lunch. It's a little bit indulgent today. It's a weekend, so it seems like a nice time to have kind of a fancy meal. Well, it's not really fancy so much as it is like just the pasta and cheese and the abundance of olive oil make it seem a little indulgent for everyday life. I'm making a casserole. This is a paper I pulled out of an old Severe magazine called Johnny Marzetti, which was invented in the bygone restaurant Marzetti's in Columbus, Ohio. It's like a garlic, onion, tomato, mushroom sauce with ground beef, oregano, and parsley, with egg noodles and topped with cheddar cheese and breadcrumbs. It's supposed to have mozzarella in it, but since I'm lactose intolerant, I'm not doing the mozzarella. And we'll probably continue watching some anime. We finished watching Aharen-san wa Hakaranai. I don't know why they didn't change it to the translation, which is Aharen-san is impenetrable. Really cute. I really recommend that one. The only thing about it, it has very like major size difference between the main female character. It does look like a little girl, and the main dude is like tall. So if that anime trope bothers you, but it's extremely wholesome, and honestly, I think the dude might be the least sexually charged male lead in any anime I've ever seen. Like, their relationship is just so kind of almost asexual, but it's super cute. All the characters just seem kind of neurodivergent and weird and really adorable as they kind of are like trying to make friends. I do not have the bandwidth for much of anything except silly, sweet little anime right now. My mushrooms froze. That's a new one. I guess I had them shoved too far back in the fridge. And I overcooked the onions a tiny bit, but it's fine. It's not too bad. The canned tomatoes were on sale this week, so all they had was diced. I'm supposed to have whole, and I think it would be better if I had whole, but we gotta work with what we got here, huh? I don't think it's lunchtime quite yet, babe. I know it smells good in here though, doesn't it? Going hard on the parsley because I have a lot to use up. Isn't it aggravating how parsley is always like 1 tablespoon of chopped parsley, and they sell it in like this huge bunch. Now it says to cool off the sauce completely before making the casserole. So we've got a long wait ahead of us with this delicious smell. The kitchen is now very hot, and I'm gonna have an apple and some peanut butter to tide me over. He's so handsome. We have a new contender. Another day, another wrinkled shirt, another meal. I realized how bad I am at vlogging and that I forgot to take a picture of my last meal when it was finished. Oh well, you know what a pan of Italian stuff looks like, right? For lunch I'm making salad. I really like these little lettuce heads that they have at Aldi, like the artisan lettuce heads, because their color is very pretty. I just think this is a very pretty leaf of lettuce. It's gonna have lettuce, one of my mom's homegrown radishes, the Vidalia onions that are so nice right now, blueberries, walnuts, and a peach and hazelnut vinaigrette. And if you're wondering, do I always eat this well? Mostly yes. Part of having the creative life at home, what makes it work is cooking from scratch a lot because it's much cheaper. So this is gonna be my last day before I wrap up this vlog and start to edit it. And I've not gotten much writing done this week. My brain just kind of up and died. So I'm kind of just trying to work on the July YouTube videos and hoping that by the time I finished that work, it'll be good to feel like that's done and I don't have to think about it too much. So my brain has space freed up for other things. And B, I'm hoping that maybe near the end of the month, I'll kind of get like the creativity will cycle back in. I do think this is the type of book that just takes a lot of time on the back burner, and some books are just like that. I found some of them just flow out in this like rush of inspiration and just, it's done. You can't even stop. That's kind of how The Potion Dealers was, and that's kind of how Doll Girl Meets Dead Guy was. But other books work better when you tell them slowly and you kind of write a couple chapters and then you think about what just happened and you think about what's gonna happen and you just let it slowly develop. That's kind of how The Broken Queen was, and that's how this book is turning out as well. I don't think that one is necessarily better or worse than the other. It's just that different books have different processes. So I definitely think that thinking I was gonna rush out the end of this book, that was not a good idea. It's just not that type of book, so. And I still think it might be possible that I could get a third book done at the tail end of the year. Fingers crossed, because I'd really like to get back up to at least releasing 2, if not 3 books a year. I don't want to go back to writing 10 books a year. That's like a whole different kind of writing. I'm fairly quick, and I've had these stories in my mind for so long that I think 2 or 3 books a year should be reasonable. But you know, everything's in flux. I was just thinking about the video I made at the beginning of this year about the direction I wanted the channel to go this year and how I don't think that I really followed almost anything I talked about in the video. Like, it just went out the window. I probably shouldn't even talk about plans because life just, you gotta adapt to like the algorithms and life circumstances, all sorts of things. Quite frequently, it just doesn't work out the way that you intended. So I'm gonna get back to making my salad. I hope you enjoyed. Well, you're gonna hear Betsy screaming in the background again, probably. She just does that. My poor old lady. But I hope you enjoyed this little kind of vloggy update video. I know a few of you have said that you missed the vlog, so I'm gonna try to incorporate like 1 vlog a month because I do really enjoy doing them and just getting the kind of casually off the cuff talk about what's going on and kind of hang out with you guys a little bit. But no, I'm making plans. Stop it. Don't make any plans. Okay, I don't know. But tell me how you guys are doing this month. What's going on in your world? We're getting a heat wave in a few days, so I am filled with dread. So yeah, if for some reason you're new here, my name is Lydia Foxglove and I am a fantasy author, and usually I talk about the creative life, the emotional, practical, and financial side. Sometimes I just hang out. If you'd like to have more from me, you can sign up for my Patreon or Substack. Free tiers for both, as well as I have YouTube memberships turned on if you want some bonus videos from me, any of those. And if you'd like to read any of my books, there's a link in the description. I hope that you guys are having a good summer and that you're ready for this heat wave if you live on, I think, at least the eastern half of the US. It's a little bit of a stressful summer, and I've certainly got a lot on my mind, but I know a lot of you are just kind of hanging in there emotionally, but all we can do is do it together. Try to enjoy the simple pleasures of life, like a good Stew? Why do I make stew when it's so hot outside anyway? I just love stew. And salad. And summer fruits. And kitties, books, all the things that bring us joy. So I will see you soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Oh, there's a baby.